The chiefs of 3 villages each set out to build a bridge across a wide chasm. If they could build this bridge, the trade that came would enrich their lives for generations to come. The first chief told his workers, "Go forth and work. Do whatever is necessary to build that bridge." The villagers established a frenzied pace, for this chief abused those workers who did not follow his commands. The first chief boasted to the other 2 leaders about the speed of his construction. Unfortunately, because no one coordinated these workers' efforts, the bridge was a haphazard collection of nails and boards. It soon collapsed. The second chief was watching this mess and decided to learn from the first chief's mistakes. She organized her workers into teams and gave them a plan to build the bridge. At first, these workers enjoyed success and built the bridge straight as an arrow far over the chasm. She boasted to the 2 other chiefs about the accomplishments of her workers. Unfortunately, the bridge only went so far, for the chief did not know how to build structural supports. Her workers became discouraged and abandoned their efforts. The third chief was watching their efforts and decided to learn from the other chief's mistakes. He sent his workers to the other villages to learn what they had done and what they hadn't done. His workers then developed a plan. In their first step, they did not build the bridge at all, but focused on creating the support columns they would need. When they completed this task, they rapidly finished the bridge. Many organizations are like the first village in implementing organizational change. They start with vague directives with little clarity about what to do. Their successes are sporadic and likely to fail. Other organizations are like the second village and become victims of their own initial success. Their initial improvement teams may become so successful that they create more without making the structural kind of changes that are necessary to support long-term efforts. If these changes are not made, the organizational change movement risks running into the same troubles that enfeebled the quality circles of the 1970s and 1980s. In previous presentations and articles, we discussed Level 3 work, which concerns major structural change, and Level 4 work, that is incremental change. Incremental change can be divided into 2 broad groups. The first group is like the first village. The CEO makes some very vague, generalized statements about what needs to be done and expects everyone to fill in the blanks. The second incremental approach is where it is more defined and focuses on solving problems. The third village is like the structural approach in that they made major changes in what needs to be done and provided the support systems necessary for it to be successful. In large-scale Level 3 type change, an organization may completely redesign itself. You may reevaluate who their customers are and what lines of business they have. Internally, they may change organizational structure, compensation systems, performance appraisal, IT systems, and management style. Given these types of changes are often uncomfortable, it is often the case that organizations will only make minor Level 4 changes. However, large-scale structural change may be necessary for the long-term success of the organization.